Hey everybody, it's Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. I'm just coming on because for the first time in like 7 or 8 years that I've been doing my weekly Monday mini medicine card readings, I actually had to shut it down. I didn't even get through the first card because we had some people come on and start arguing and threatening and um, that's just not cool. That's not welcome here. That is not, there is no place on my channel for that kind of thing. This is a safe and sacred space. And so I shut it down for lack of anything else, just to protect myself, to protect my viewers from um, anything. And I still wanted to, it was my choice to shut that down, but I'm not going to let someone else shut me down. And so I wanted to come on and do a video and pull some cards so that those who so faithfully, like my viewers, the ones that support me with their presence, with their love, and show up every week to get a card reading, it's like I want to make sure that we stay reciprocal and I'm giving something to you every week. And so in lieu of a live video this week, I thought I would just pull, you know what, I'm gonna pull 3 cards. It's gonna be a little truncated, it's gonna be a little bit less than normal, but I'm gonna pull 3 cards because I'm still feeling a little bit I still have some clearing to do myself. I just smudged everything. I actually set my fire alarm off because there was so much smudge in here. So I smudged myself. I reset my energetic boundaries and protections and calling in all my guides and my guardians. But I wanted to at least come on and pull a few cards. It did take a lot out of me. I'm not up to my normal level tonight, but I still wanted to give something. So we're going to pull 3 cards. So choose a card between 1 and 3. And we will see what our guidance is. That is funny. All right, card number 1 is Bat in reverse. The reason I laugh is because that is exactly what happened tonight. Bat is about death and rebirth. Usually when Bat shows up, it's because everything has literally been put on its head. Like I said, tonight was really, really strange. It was the first time I'd ever had to stop a live stream early. And it really did. It kind of threw everything. And the thing about that is it's about the way when like up to this point, usually people tell you to ground to the earth, right? To find your foundation by putting down a taproot into the earth or putting your cord down to the center of the earth and grounding that way. But when everything that has been foundational for you is in motion and is shifting and transforming, you don't necessarily want to ground to the earth. You want to ground to spirit, right? Think of Bat hanging at the top of the cave, his feet in the ceiling. He grounds to spirit. because that is the only permanent, stable foundation you have, right? Um, and really, a big part of the spiritual path is about disillusionment, literally, because it's like everything in this world is an illusion. Everything in this world is temporal, meaning it's temporary, meaning it is of time. It has a beginning and an end. The only thing in your world that does not have a beginning or an end is you. Your spirit is eternal, right? And so part of the spiritual path is that disillusion. It's like the illusion of the world starts to pull apart. Those things that we thought were solid before no longer can seem solid, no longer can support what we need. And so it's kind of this slow motion or fast motion unraveling of the illusion of this world. And so when your world around you is changing and shifting, the only place to ground is up, is spirit. Is spirit. Whether you're grounding upward or you're grounding inward into your heart, that is the only stable foundation that is real, right? And if you think about the darkness, bat in the darkness, when bat comes up reverse, it can be kind of this like, the sky is falling, oh my God. And, but if you think about the cave, right? The darkness of the cave is the darkness of the womb of Mother Earth. It's the womb of the cosmic mother. So when you find yourself in the dark, as scary or as anxious as you may be, you are safe. You are being held. And part of the disillusionment, part of the purpose of the disillusionment, part of the purpose of things falling apart is to kick up our intuition, right? To learn new ways to navigate rather than navigating by how things look or how we expect things to be. We need to start listening to the vibes, right? Bat navigates through sonar, through sound waves, vibrations, frequencies. And so right now you're being asked to let go of the old ways of navigating, to know that things that are coming apart, things that are being lost, are doing so not to endanger you or to disempower you. It's actually the opposite. It's meant to reveal who you are. Like Dr. Wayne Dyer always said that circumstances don't make a person, circumstances reveal a person. And so as things fall apart, the invitation, the opportunity is to reach deeper in, to ground, to spirit, so that's how you remain unshakable. And I just saw a meme about this, if your well-being is dependent on anyone or anything else, then that's control. It's like then people can control you because they can control the people or the circumstances. You're not truly free. But when you realize that your only authority is Creator, who speaks to you, connects to you through your heart, which in turn connects you to all living beings, then there's nothing outside of you that can threaten you. And rather than it is not that you are, sometimes the narrative is such that you're going from one state to another state. And so it's scary. It's like you're going into new territory. But the fact is that you're already that territory. You're already that which you are discovering. It's an unveiling. It's a revealing of who you already are. So you're not going anywhere. You're not leaving one thing to go to the other thing. You're expanding your awareness of who you truly are. And don't get me wrong, I mean, those are all pretty words and sound encouraging, but it can be scary as heck, right? Because we live in these little bubbles of reality, and there's a bubble of fear around it. There's a ring of fear around our comfort zones. And to challenge those is scary, because our identity, what we associate with who we are, with our identity, our ego self, is within that bubble. But just like a seed has to break out of its casings, or a nut has to break out of its shell, you can't live in that. You have to expand, or it's expansion or death. And if you're going to continue to grow and expand, you're going to rub up against those perimeters that have up to this point protected you. And so it is a dark night of the soul. It's like, it's kind of like someone who's blind tends to have better hearing, etc. It's like when you're what's the word I'm looking for? When you don't have access to one of your senses, the other senses kind of kick up to make up for the lost senses. And so when you find yourself in that darkness, seemingly exiled, in the dark, not knowing what's going on, you can rest. You are okay. You are safe. The universe is holding space for you. Okay? And it's a matter of learning. It's dark to get you to learn to reach out. Reach out with your feelings. Use the force, right? But trust that you are, again, like Wayne Dyer always said, you are a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. Your default setting is spirit. Your default setting is divinity. Your default setting is joy. That's who you are, and that cannot be destroyed or erased. And so when things start to fall apart, it's trying to release that joy. It's trying to reveal what actually is real. Because nothing in the temporal world, the illusionary world, can, how do I put this? The outside world is just a reflection of who you are on the inside. And nothing in the outside world can sustain you forever, because you are beyond time. You are eternal. So if things are falling apart, know that, number one, you are safe. Number two, that there is purpose. And as best you can, find those things that do comfort you. Find time and space to be calm, to breathe, and to know that the fact that things are changing is proof that you are healing, that you are growing, that you are expanding, because otherwise everything would stay the same. You would be content. Um, there'd be no lingering questioning or doubting, right? Like I just found out that quote from Descartes that says, "I think, therefore I am." The full quote is actually, "I doubt, therefore I think, therefore I am." And so it's that doubt and that questioning. The physical world can never fulfill you completely. It can distract you for a really long time, right? Which is part of everyone's hero journey. Like even in the Odyssey, you know, they found themselves on this island, and were all these beautiful women, and there was all this food, and it was like they got caught into it, and like just time disappeared, and they were just lulled into contentment and forgot what they were doing, forgot why they were doing it, right? Because everything was taken care of. There was no rough edges, there was no questioning, it was all provided. But eventually there was this wake up, right? Like, what the heck am I doing? And starting to remember that original call to go home, right? That's what's happening. Um, that's actually a really good metaphor for what's happening, because, you know, we've been bamboozled and talked into this whole, like, you know, American dream, or what, you know, like fulfillment in riches and lovers and vehicles and all these other things that prove how good you are. But all of those things are distractions. All of those things, um, just like anything else, they are tools, and they can either block your growth, or they can be stepstones toward your growth. And so right now is that time where so many people are like, wait, what the heck am I doing? There has to be more than this. I'm not growing. There's no excitement. There's nothing to look forward to. Everything is provided, right? And so it's like, what else is out? There's got to be something else out there. And it's that spark of curiosity, that spark of doubt that draws us forward into greater awareness of who we are. So trust that the universe has so much faith in you that whatever challenge that you are facing is part of the journey, that the universe is not going to give you anything more than you can deal with. And if it's in front of you, that means it is not beyond you. The fact that you're facing it proves that you have what you need to get through it, or over it, or beyond it, whatever is required for your personal growth. Because the universe knows who you are. The universe knows what you're capable of. The universe sees the true you underneath all of the shrapnel and jetsam and flotsam of daily life. So know you are always in the right place at the right time, that you are safe, that you are guided, that you are loved. And that, I was going to say one day, but it's not even going to be a day, because it's going to be beyond time. There is a part of you right now, while you're sitting here entrenched in time and space, that is beyond time and space, that's looking at you, that's actually a part of you. That's the destination, right? And that part of you is drawing you forward. That part of you is like, okay, that's the part of you that is shaking things up, right? But that part of you is already there. And when we can trust that that's where we're headed, it's easier to surrender. We don't have to fight the whole way. We don't have to fight everything that's happening. We don't logically have to figure things out. If we open our hearts and trust, we are guided, right? And anything, you can't lose anything that isn't already a part of you, right? If you lose it, it never was part of you, right? And if it was part of you, you might temporarily lose sight of it, like a lizard dropping its tail to get away from a predator, and that whatever that is will grow back. It will come back to you if it is intrinsic to who you are. So you can lose nothing. So you can trust, as scary as these times might be, as much an upheaval as you may feel, as anxious as you may feel, breathe and know that there is a purpose to this. And know that it is not some narcissistic father figure in the sky smiting you or saying, I will punish you or I will teach you. The universe loves you. That part of you beyond time is the part that is reaching their hand to you in time and space to draw you forward, right? There's a saying about how people tend to seek out God when their cage is being rattled, not realizing that it's God that's doing the rattling. If your world is falling apart, there is so much more that you are capable of it. There's so many more things. If something is being taken out of your life, it's because something better is pushing its way into your life. Okay? Okay, so I'm glad I'm only going to do 3 cards because others will be here forever. All right, so card number 2. All right, so this is your card number 2. We got Owl. This is like, okay, so there's always a thread through the cards when I pull them. It's almost like this is like the next step. It's like Bat is blind, right? Bat has to navigate through frequencies, through sound. Well, Owl lives in the dark and sees in the dark, right? Owl has as good of eyesight as Eagle does, only Owl sees at night. And so it really is, it's like the next step, if you want to put it that way, after Bat is embracing, it's this realization that, okay, how do I put this? The dark is not to be feared. The dark is great mystery. The dark is the great mother with full potential, with the absolute full potential, right? And Owl embraces the dark. Owl feels at home in the dark. It's the mysterious, it's from the dark that everything is born, right? It's dark that holds every potential future, every potential circumstance, every potential outlying of whatever timeline you may be following. And Owl makes that her home because she has learned to see in the dark. right? To see from the heart. The dark is the mysterious divine feminine. It's the divine, it's the mysterious, it's the wild, it's the primal, it's the unknown. Because it's from that infinite potential that everything is born. And so Owl is the queen of the night, right? Apex predator. And she is also the only bird that is totally silent in her flight. You can't hear her coming. The feathers, owl feathers, like crow feathers, you can hear the whoosh, 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 right? Owl feathers are softer around, they don't have the edge that most feathers do. They're softer. And so they don't have that whoosh, whoosh. So when they fly, they're totally silent. And so Owl sees what she needs, swoops in and grabs it, and is gone before anyone even knows she was there. So this is about claiming your own authority, right? You don't owe an explanation. You don't need permission. You see what needs to happen. You see what you need, and you do it. You go for it, and it's yours before anyone even knows you were there, right? And Owl, and with her ability to see through the dark, this is why she was the totem of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and the goddess of war, right? Athena is the one credited with bringing democracy to the ancient Greeks and the justice system, because being able to see through Owl's eyes, Owl sitting on her shoulder and seeing through Owl's eyes, she could see through any darkness, any shade, any shadow, any subterfuge someone was throwing in the way, and she could see to the heart of the matter to see what was just and what wasn't. And so this is about trusting your heart. When your heart tells you something, stop second guessing yourself. We have this tendency to, I do this myself sometimes. It's like something feels right or something feels wrong. And it's like, okay, this feels like this, but that's probably just me, right? Oh, I'm seeing it through the filter of my past. I'm not seeing it fully, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, right? In fact, I've had a number of of experiences lately where those kind of things have happened, where it would have been really easy to kind of fall back into unconsciousness and just say, oh, that was just me. That's my fear speaking. That's my old programming. That's my trauma, whatever it is. But sticking with it, it was like, no, this happened so that I could clearly see that whatever that was, what I was feeling about it is true. That it wasn't just, I've been doing this long enough that I can trust my heart. I can trust my feelings, right? Because that's why we do this. If we're not growing, if we're not utilizing the things that we learn on the spiritual growth, why are we doing it, right? And so it's kind of like standing up and claiming your experience, claiming your authority on your life. Everything you've experienced is your experience and cannot be taken away. And it is those experiences, cumulatively, whether bad or good, that have shaped who you are, where you are in learning to trust your intuition. And it's at a point where it's time to start listening, following through on those things, Um, taking the risk, taking the risk of saying something wrong to someone, because chances are whatever you say is going to be perfect, and they're going to let you know that, right? That's how we learn. That's how I learned doing readings for years and years and years. I mean, when I first started doing readings, I had the book with me the whole time. I was like, oh, you got Badger? Okay, it means this and this and this and this and this. And it took me a while to realize that I could trust what was coming to me. I haven't looked in the book in years. I don't know how close, like the guidance that comes to me with each animal, I don't know how close that guidance is to what the book says or not, because I've learned to trust that by saying things that might be uncomfortable, by saying what's coming into my mind, and then seeing the reaction, learning, getting the validation from whoever I'm reading that, okay, that didn't make sense to me, but it made sense to them. So I can, after you do that for a while, you can start to trust those feelings, and you can see the things that don't make sense. And like, if you're dealing with a relationship or something, you don't have to say, well, I know this, I know you're doing this, or you're feeling this, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying, but it opens the door for you to ask the question, to say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Is this, I'm picking this up, is this how you're feeling? And to ask a question, to open up questioning, right? Questioning is opening your arms, and vulnerability is like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. Is this what you're feeling? Or just asking, how are you feeling? Because this is how it's seeming to me. And it's in those kind of exchanges that we start to trust our own voice, our own vision, and to know that what our heart is telling us is actually true, no matter how much darkness is thrown up around it, no matter how many fake truths or lies and everything else are being thrown into the mix. You navigate from your heart, so you can't be misled. So trust yourself. You have come through enough experiences that if you haven't already, it's time to start trusting that voice, trusting your vision, trusting what your heart says. And it's, instead of it being something scary, right? It's like, it's play, literally, right? Like Einstein, Mr. Rogers, all of them say play is learning. We think of play as something frivolous, right? Like, just, it's something to distract the kids until they're back in school or whatever. But playing is how we learn. And so playing, experimenting, is like, say something. You're thinking something, you're feeling something, say it out loud. And not on a soapbox in the middle of a crowd somewhere, but like in talking with your loved ones, or talking to a friend, or whatever. It's like, those are those simple, small steps out of the comfort zone, right? Out of the dark night of the soul. And it's how we get to learn to trust ourselves, trust that that we can trust. And it's like, my mind is, I'm hearing the question like, but what is it that you're trusting? Well, you're trusting that you're whole. You're trusting that you're divine, that you are unerasable, indestructible, that you are spirit having a human experience. And that's all you need to trust. Because the outside world is a reflection of that trust. I just had 444 on the thing. And so if you trust who you are, You trust your connection to Creator. You trust that that you are the divine co-creator of your life. Then the world around you has to change with you. So there is going to be upheaval. There is going to be things that fall apart. But it's all part of growth. It's all part of change. And when you're in touch with that foundation of source within you, then you become unshakable. Then nothing that happens in the outside world, it still might be scary, you might still get anxious, etc., but you also know that no matter what it is, you will outlive it. You will somehow get through it, overcome it, whatever is necessary, because it always has a purpose. So trust in your own divinity, trust in your connection to Creator, right? And trust your vision. Trust if things aren't, if your head is spinning, your thoughts aren't making sense, drop into the heart, look at it with your heart, because the mind divides, the mind separates. That's its job. And so its job is basically to help you go through a doorway rather than walking into a wall. It helps you navigate the physical world by separating, discerning. Your heart is what sees everything as whole, sees the oneness and the connection of everything. Your heart has room for everything. So look with your heart to get what the truth is, and then let your mind guide you to that, help you navigate to that. Okay? All right, so one more card. All right. So card number 3 is Dolphin in reverse. To me, this is, in a way, it's the next step. You know, everything I've set up to now has been kind of theoretical and like, you know, ways to frame things, ways to look at things. But how do you utilize that? How do you manifest that in physical reality? You breathe. Dolphin is about the breath. And so what I urge you to do is, if you don't already, create for yourself some kind of spiritual program, spiritual practice, ideally in the morning and at night. Even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, to sit and meditate, or whatever else you do that helps you to connect to spirit. Dolphin, to me, is the perfect example of that whole thing of being a spirit in a human body, you know, being a spirit with a human experience, not a human with a spiritual experience. Because dolphin is a mammal. Dolphin is an air breather who lives in the ocean, right? Spirit in a human experience, a mammal in an ocean experience. And what is it that allows dolphin to live in the ocean, in the water? It's the air that he breathes, right? And in a number of cultures, air and spirit, if not synonymous, are associated with each other. Sometimes even the same words are used for air and spirit. And so dolphin is the embodiment holding the spirit. And in order to maintain and sustain his life in the ocean, dolphin needs to rise to the air, right, irregularly. There's a rhythm. He rises up, takes a deep breath of spirit, and that is what allows him to dive back into the ocean and to thrive. It's that spirit within him calling to the spirit above the water. And so it's like somehow, every day, at least once, ideally, like kind of bookend your day with connecting to spirit, whether it's just sitting and lighting a candle or saying a prayer or meditating. It's like meditating. It's like dolphin's blowhole is basically its crown chakra, right? So it's like that, opening that crown chakra and allowing spirit to come into you, fill you up, and then that's what allows you to walk through your day, right? And I remember so clearly back like decades ago when I started meditating. I worked in a warehouse. It was in the middle of the day sometime, and I was pulling an order to ship out, and all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I'm still meditating. I was going about my day, I was doing my job, I was working and doing other things, but I realized I was still in that mental space, that peace, that stillness of meditation. And so ideally that's what you go into, that you connect to spirit, and then you carry that spirit with you. You don't just, it's not a fix, right? It's not like, oh crap, I need to meditate because I need to connect to spirit again. Okay, that's better. Now I can go back into the rat race and ignore spirit again for a while until I need to, until my lungs are ready to burst. It's not finding a solution for the problems of life or your daily world. It's connecting what is true beyond your physical daily life. And the more you do that, especially day and night, the more easily it's like flexing muscles, right? It's like doing reps in the gym. The more you do that, the more easily available that is at any moment that you need it in your day. And like I said, sometime if you've been doing it for a while, you might all of a sudden have this kind of realization in the middle of your day, in the middle of whatever job you're doing, that, oh my God, I'm still in meditation. That's the ideal. And that is calling this, and I was just talking to someone the other day. I had a client the other day, and I was talking about the paradox of it's when we connect to spirit that we feel more grounded, right? It's not an either or. It's not, sacrificing one to get to the other. It's a both and it's by opening up to spirit that you become more present, you become more grounded and centered in your physical body, in your physical existence. It benefits both. So if that's your card, I suggest you find some way of connecting to spirit. Actually, putting it, if you need to, put it on your schedule, right? I just got 4444. Put it on your schedule. Put it on your calendar. And don't let anything else take priority, right? It's like your well-being is your biggest priority. Like Abraham Hicks talks about, um, your main priority should be feeling good, and connecting to spirit is how you feel good, right? Because, like he says, there's not a source of well-being and a source of not well-being battling it out, you know, in contrast to each other, trying to see who's going to win. There's a source of well-being, and that's the only source. And the more you open up to that source and allow that source to flow through you, the healthier, the more healthier physically, mentally, emotionally you will be. And so spirit directly impacts your physical, right? It's not an either or, it's a both and. And so, you know, and ideally the goal is to be walking embodiments of divine light and love, to be the presence of the divine here on the physical planet. That's how we change the world. That's how we heal the world, just by being present, by being in that divine frequency on this planet. That's how we transform the lower energies, the lower frequencies, because when you're the highest frequency in the room, all the other frequencies in the room rise to meet yours. And that's unicorn medicine. Oh, I don't know where I put that. That's unicorn medicine. Look, and there's the dolphin. The dolphin was hanging on. That's unicorn medicine. That's so funny. Unicorns heal just by being present, right? They can purify an entire body of water by simply dipping their horn in, because they're such a high frequency that frequency ripples out and touches and changes and transforms everything around them. You know, and I'll end this with one of my favorite stories that keeps coming up recently is the story of the Buddha, and how when he first, like on the night before he became enlightened, right, the Buddha sat down under the Bodhi tree, and he sat down, he's like, I am not leaving here till I am either enlightened or dead, right? So he sat, and he sat, and his consciousness, his frequency, his vibrations all started to rise. And the king of the demons freaked out at this, because if he finds spiritual freedom, then all these other humans are going to find the spiritual freedom. And what are the demons going to, they're not going to be able to control people as well. So he rallied all his troops, and they sent this barrage of flaming boulders and flaming arrows and spears and every possible thing they could throw at the Buddha. Well, the Buddha, sitting in his enlightened place in that divine frequency, anything, boulder or arrow or spear, when it hit his energy, the edge of his energy, it transformed into flowers and showered at his feet. So, your best defense, rather than fighting something, is your own divine light. Miracles happen, right? It makes me think of Black Elk Speaks when I read that for the first time. And some of the native warriors calling in their medicine, calling in their guides, etc., and then um, riding their horses full speed into the ranks of the enemy, turning around and coming back to their own ranks. No, they weren't killing anyone, they weren't fighting anyone. They rode in and out without an arrow, without a bullet, without anything touching them, because their medicine was so strong, right? That's the thing I'm talking about. It's like when you walk in that frequency, it's not that, it doesn't necessarily like shoot a bullet and the bullet will shatter before it gets there, but that energy attracts to it, opens the door, opens the pathway ahead of you where that's not even an issue. Because you are the center of your reality. When you are connected to Creator, when you have that faith of owl, right? Of the darkness, the shadow is what gives you your strength. That you are whole, you are complete, you are divine, of divine vibration. Then there's nothing you need to fear. And don't for a moment think that I go through my life fearlessly and unafraid, because there are things that scare me. There are things that I've got a history of anxiety. I pretty much dealt with it, but I went through a whole decade. For those of you who don't know the story, I went through an entire decade of extreme anxiety and panic attacks, and I still, looking back, don't know how I survived it. So I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to be scared out of my wits. I know what it's like to be so anxious all the time that you wake up every morning wondering if it's going to be your last day on earth. Not because you're suicidal or anything, but because, how much more stress can my physical body handle? It's like, when is my heart going to give out? Because I don't know how much more of this I can handle. So, and as I found out then, as I find out now, the answer is always surrender. Surrender to your own nature. Surrender to your greatness. Surrender to your divinity. Know that you, in your physical human mind, don't have to logistically figure everything out. That you can let go and trust. Allow things to unfold in front of you. That's not to say that you're not. There are things you're going to have to do, but the things that you're going to do will be spiritually guided to put you in the right positions to, like the stars, come into conjunction with things, whatever, to resonate, to have certain things happen, come together in front of you. But trust the love. Trust the universe that loves you. Trust the universe who trusts you. And play and laugh, right? If you've ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's a passage in there about how humans thought they were superior to dolphins because they had invented cities and war and digital watches, and all dolphins ever did was muck about in the water having a good time. And dolphins realized they were superior to humans for the very same reason. Seek joy, seek laughter. Seek play. My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes, is when Oscar Wilde said, Life is too important to be taken seriously. Play. Experience your life. Be present in your life. Otherwise, why are you here? Trust that there is more on in heaven and earth than you can imagine in your dreams. I don't remember what that Shakespeare quote is, but if you think about even, it's like radio, like wave, like frequencies, right? You've got, it's a spectrum, right? You've got all the different frequencies of waves. I don't know what they all are, but you know, there's like radio waves, there's ultraviolet rays, there's ultrasound, there's sound that's lower than we can hear, etc. And out of this huge big spectrum, our perceptions are only keyed into like that much of it. There is so much more in the physical universe than we can even imagine, because we only are aware of that much. That's all we can be aware of with our limited bodies, with our limited perceptions. And so that's why things fall apart. We're asked to open up to more senses than just our physical ones. So I hope that is helpful. Again, to those who tuned in and either didn't find my live stream or were on my live stream and had it so rudely interrupted, I apologize. I hope that this video partially makes up for it. Please share my video. And if you are so-called, I have my PayPal and Venmo links in the description. If you want to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, this is my day job. This is what I do for a living. So it helps. It helps when others support me. I give to my community gives to me, and that, you know, financially supports me in feeding myself and my kitty and keeping a roof over my head and the things that, so that I can focus on my spiritual path and my spiritual challenges, etc., so that I have more to share with you to guide you on your spiritual path home. So, and if you enjoyed the readings, if you got something and you would like a personal reading, you can find me at perchingwolfstudios.net. You can learn more about me. If you don't know about me, you can see the different shamanic services I offer, healings and readings and teachings. Oh my! I do these readings. I do shamanic healing, soul retrievals. Everything's kind of woven in with Reiki and power animal retrievals and fairy doctoring, all kinds of good stuff. And then teaching. I am actively getting some classes together that I will reveal soon. So stay tuned for that. On class lines and in-person classes. But beyond that, I also do one-on-one mentoring. So if you are looking for a spiritual teacher, if you're at a crossroads, if you've had a recent awakening or whatever, you're not sure what to do or which way to go, I would be so honored to be your teacher to help you find that path. Not my path, not a clone of me, but to help you decipher and literally connect to and converse with your personal guidance, right? Shamanism is a path of direct revelation. We don't have to go to other people to get the revelations. We connect to our own guides. So I will teach you how to personally connect to your guides and have conversations with them to ask for to ask for help, to ask for power, to ask for healing, to ask for guidance, whatever it is. So I hope that is all helpful. I hope you will tune in. I will be back next Monday, whatever day that is. And again, thank you for understanding my cutting short the live stream this week and having to reconfigure and regroup. But I will be back next week. And until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.